Talking college sports in the Deep South where college football is king. We want to think that the SEC Conference is one of the better conferences in all of college football. Of course, the SEC West with some of the highest recruiting classes in the country, interstate rivalries, and great interconnecting rivalries. Like I said before, my favorite, Alabama and LSU. Down in the Deep South, especially in East Alabama, where Auburn University rests, they call that place the loveliest village on the plains, and the battle cry is War Eagle. Good morning, fearless and true gang. Let's go ahead and get the comment section active here on this Thursday morning as we're talking Auburn football like nobody else will. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn, War Eagle. This morning we're talking linebackers at Auburn University coming into the 2019 season. Ahead you have Oregon in the Advocare Classic. Justin Herbert, the quarterback for Oregon, obviously has somewhat of a dark horse aspirations to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, as well as many skill players on the Oregon Ducks football team that can make big plays. We're talking Auburn linebackers, though. Coming into the 2019 season, Auburn is going to be forced to replace all three of the preceding linebackers, Montavious Atkinson, Darrell Williams, and, of course, the vocal and fearless leader, Deshaun Davis, who is now in the NFL. Now, when we look at the linebacker core prior, you had just a lot of hit or miss with these linebackers. I mean, they weren't absolutely terrible, but they just really weren't as reliable as you would want an elite set of SEC linebackers to be, especially considering the experience that they had. They proved to be a liability in a lot of cases on the edge. They just, really little to no run support outside of the tackles, no reliable run support. These guys just didn't have the range that you would expect out of an elite SEC linebacker core, and it proved to be costly, especially in the higher consequence SEC games. Even Tennessee exploited that weakness of the linebacker core. You talk about Deshaun Davis, who, although well-meaning, there were just some plays on the field that he just couldn't make. The play that stands out to me the most is, with a little time left in the fourth quarter against LSU, right in position to make a play on a pass that turned out to be a touchdown, but just not athletic enough. In position, just not athletic enough. And that was just something that plagued the defensive staff last year, is the fact that the linebacker play was just so unreliable. Now on comes the 2019 Auburn Tigers that projected KJ Britt as the presumed leader at that Mike linebacker position that Deshaun Davis held on to. Now, the Mike linebacker position, obviously for terminology purposes, is the middle linebacker. Now, this is a very important piece to the puzzle of the defense because, you're going to be expected to fill gaps. You're also going to be expected to be somewhat of a sideline linebacker, kind of like, say, Reuben Foster or Roquan Smith from Georgia. Those guys, set a really nice example as to what a Mike linebacker should be like. Also, you think about back in the day, Auburn has had several linebackers that have been pretty productive, such as Dontarius Thomas, just to name a few, Takeo Spikes, just to name a few, have been very productive for the Auburn Tigers throughout the years. Even Travis Williams back in 2004, although undersized, a very, very good middle linebacker for the Auburn Tigers. So we expect KJ Britt to add a little bit more athleticism. We also expect KJ Britt to be more athletic out in the flat, especially where Deshaun Davis just was not capable of being, consistent with that type of coverage. Usually, Deshaun Davis was steps behind on a lot of plays and just, really outside of the tackles. In between the tackles, anything outside of that, Deshaun Davis was highly ineffective, and Darrell Williams and Montavious Atkinson, they had some strengths, but just not brute linebacker strength that you expect for high-level defenses in the SEC. Also, KJ Britt, like I said before, has become a leader on this Auburn defense because he spent time, under Deshaun Davis, has seen what Kevin Steele and what Travis Williams expects out of the linebacker core, and he has the potential to effectively convey that to the defense. Also, he's going to get a little help because he has a wealth of talent returning at the defensive line position. Obviously, you have Derek Brown, Nick Coe, Marlon Davidson, Big Cat Bryant, T.D. Moultrie. I mean, you name it. A lot of solidarity there, and would give any new coming linebacker the confidence to start to learn the portions of his role. Of course, he played some limited action last year. He made a very nice tackle from what I saw in the Purdue game. So I'm really excited about what KJ Britt will be able to do coming into the 2019 season, especially with his skills are definitely going to be tested early and often in the game against Oregon. And I'm pretty sure he's very excited about that, excited for the opportunity. He's been waiting on his moment. This will be his junior year, so he has this year, and unless he has a really breakout season, can also look forward to his senior year as well. And what I mean by breakout season, that means having a great season this year and then having the possibility of declaring for the draft after this season. But that remains to be seen at this point. Like I said before, you definitely will see, in my opinion, some upgrades athletically. Hopefully the fundamentals will be in place. Of course, Travis Williams is a big, the linebacker coach is a big proponent of the fundamentals of the game. So, and KJ Britt has been around to learn the techniques and learn what's expected out of the Kevin Steele defense, and they're hopefully able to convey that to some of his also athletic linebackers, Kobe McLean, Chandler Wooten. You also have Owen Papo, who's going to be a major contributor to the Auburn linebacker core. So we really look forward to this as Auburn gets ready to take on Oregon in the Advocare Classic, also coming up. After that, you're talking Tulane and Kent State before Auburn enters SEC play. Defense is going to be very important entering into that game, so shoring up a lot of the fundamentals, a lot of the mistakes will be paramount for Auburn to make a run in the SEC. This will be the first time Auburn has first time in a long time that Auburn has had to just replace a whole defensive linebacker core. But it will be interesting to see because these guys are just absolutely athletic, very, very fun to watch, and I just really am excited to see how they gel with the secondary as well. Because as we've seen in the past, the secondary and the linebackers weren't always on the same page. And because of the lack of athleticism by the linebackers, the safeties and the cornerbacks had to do more in run support than probably should have been asked of them. And we want to think that coming into the 2019 season, that with upgrades athletically and as far as range goes, range meaning being able to help cover out in the flat and some of the intermediate passes, we just expect a little bit more out of the linebackers this year, and which could lead to Auburn obviously having one of the top defenses in the country. All right, guys, leave in the comment section what you think about this linebacker position and where Auburn is headed with the linebackers. I may have missed some things, so just want to go ahead and get active in that comment section. Go ahead and like this video. Like I said before, make sure you comment. Also, subscribe to Vernon Speaks Auburn, Sports Auburn. You all have an incredible day, and War Eagle.